Hi everyone, if you're into woodworking and want to get really flat and straight boards before using them in projects, today I want to show you this compact 6-inch jointer from VIGOPOWER. Let's see how easy it is to set up and what kind of results we can actually get. Let's start with the assembly. The jointer comes almost completely assembled, though the install setup is pretty straightforward. In the box, you get 2 push blocks, the tools you'll need for adjustments, 3 replacement cutter inserts, and a detailed instruction manual. The jointer itself is compact enough for a home workshop, but it has a 12 amp and 1.5 horsepower motor. The work surface feels flat and rigid, and the aluminum fence provides solid support for the workpiece while you are using the machine. The depth of cut can be adjusted up to the eighth of an inch. Personally, especially when working with harder wood, we would start with shallower passes rather than trying to remove too much material at once. This makes the workpiece easier to control and puts less load on the motor. The maximum cutting width is 6 inches. We are starting with a board that isn't completely flat and making several passes. While you are working, you want to keep the workpiece firmly against the table and feed it forward at a steady pace. That's exactly where the 2 included push blocks come in handy. They keep your hands farther away from the cutter head and give you much better control over the board. After several passes, you can already see the noticeable difference. The surface becomes much farther and smoother, giving you a proper reference face for the next steps in your project. And I especially like how easy these are to maintain. Each insert has 4 cutting edges, so when one edge eventually becomes dull or gets damaged, you don't necessarily have to replace the entire cutter. You can remove that individual inserts, rotate it 90 degrees to expose a fresh cutting edge, and reinstall it. Now let's try straightening an edge. The fence can be set at 90 degrees to create a square edge relative to the flat face we already made. And if your project requires a different angle, the fence can be adjusted anywhere from 90 to 135 degrees. After a few passes, you can check the result with a square. And this is why you really see why a jointer is useful. Another really useful feature is the built-in dust collection system. There is an internal blower that pushes chips out through the dust port. You can see the machine with a dust bag or connect a shop vac, and dust collection is especially useful with a jointer because even after just a few passes, you're removing quite a bit of material and creating a surprising amount of chips. While it's running, the machine feels stable. The manufacturer also rates it for hardwoods like oak, maple, and walnut. Overall, I think this is a really interesting option for a smaller home workshop. It takes up much less space than a full-size jointer while still giving you the ability to create a flat face and a straight, square edge before moving on to the next steps of your project.